Hey guys, time for an update. Things have been a little bit sporadic recently on my channel. I've run into a number of problems in the last, say, week and a half that has kind of done its best to derail what I like to think was a fairly smooth operation before. First thing, last week I actually got really ill. I put it up on my Facebook page actually, just warning people that videos might be interrupted. I was proper bloody ill with a stomach bug. Something, I mean, I haven't had anything like that since school. I was completely wiped out for 3 days, and I felt really shitty for about 5 days, almost a solid week actually. It's something that's been sweeping its way through work, and since I've had it, it's been sweeping its way through the house as well. So, well, as long as I don't get it back. So that kind of knocked me out, basically. And I actually ran out of videos because I was so ill. So, once I got better, which would have been Sunday. Let's check the date here a minute. I started feeling much better and kind of like back in the recording, like record able, I should say, on Sunday the 6th. I think I had one Fallout video left. So I quickly recorded one just to get one up, and then I started rendering it, and I switched over to my PS4 and started playing Dusty Elysian Tale. Very good game, by the way. Highly recommend it if you like Metroidvania games and just beautiful art styles. Kind of an interesting ending as well, but let's not go too deeply into that. But I started recording it, finished it, threw it into Sony Movie Maker, started rendering, and just hooked over to the PlayStation, started playing that. About an hour and a half later, I thought, I don't know, I'd check Windows, see if my video's finished. And I was greeted by a blank screen, like black completely. And I was like, okay, this isn't normal. So I fired up my second monitor, checked it on that. For some reason, I have two monitors. So I actually have two TVs, but I have two monitors essentially. And it always defaults to my crappy little TV, my secondary display, as the main display if anything goes wrong, which is always confusing. And it was just a black screen saying, insert boot device, push Control Delete to restart. And I was like, okay, how did we get from Windows to this? Bearing in mind, touch wood, my computers have always been pretty damn reliable, with the exception of the first one I built like 10 years ago. It was a piece of shit, but I put that down to like Windows Vista instead of the actual system itself. But that was kind of weird, so I thought, fair enough, I'll reset it. Bearing in mind I've just brought an SSD, so I was thinking, oh my god, don't tell me that's dead. Reset it, and it just, the same thing happened again. So I went into the BIOS, made sure everything was ready. It was recognizing the mechanical disk and the SSD, all the memory checked out, everything was fine. So I thought, Christ, I've got nowhere like troubleshooting any of this. So took it into the kitchen, stripped it all down, rewired it, and then it would start loading into Windows, or trying to load Windows 10 I should say, and then it would just come up with a blue screen saying your PC failed to start, Control Delete to restart. In fact, actually I think Windows 10 said, oh, we're restarting your computer for you, because it's so handy and useful. And anyway, it was stuck in this kind of boot loop, which took me about a day to fix. What I actually did finally get it down to is, on my power supply, one of my SATA power connectors actually has the tiniest, most subtle break, little crack in the side. Which I've never actually noticed before, but that one was actually powering the SSD, so I assume that the power cable might have slipped out. I have all my cables fairly, not super tight, but fairly tight. I like cable management, I like it to look quite nice and clean, and I can only assume that slipped out and corrupted the actual drive. But it wasn't booting whilst I had the mechanical drive in at all. It wasn't doing anything, so I thought, I hope my mechanical drive's not dead, because that's got all my videos on it. You know, if the Windows drive corrupts and I have to reinstall Windows, yes, it's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. However, if anything happened to that mechanical drive, I'll be boned. So anyway, I unplugged that and just run it with the SSD installed, and things slowly got better. But it was clear that Windows was completely corrupt and fucking useless. So I rewired everything. I changed over all my SATA cables. I brought new ones. And I started using a different power cord for all of my SATA drives. And the old girl kind of sparked into life a little bit. That's a very quick, short story version of the troubleshooting process, which was driving me mad. There's loads of failed starts and computer doing weird things until I realised that power connector was probably causing a short circuit somewhere. And then anyway, well, I got into Windows, and Windows 7 wouldn't activate. I was using my code, my Windows key, and it was saying you can no longer use this key. It wasn't saying it's fraudulent or anything, it was just saying it can't activate because this key, it didn't even give me a reason, it just says this key could not be used. It didn't say this key's not recognized or any of that shit, which was, that kind of drove me nuts. So I was like, okay, I finally got my computer running, and it looks like I'm stuck with Windows 7. Now, for anybody that's still stuck with Windows 7, I feel sorry for you, because Windows 10 is like, I love it, okay? It's like the best OS I've ever used. Yeah, there's these tinfoil hat wearers that moan about all the spyware, bloatware, and all, well, not bloatware, but, oh, Windows is spying on you and all that lot. Well, as long as I'm not planting bombs anywhere, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't really care. Most of the tracking, all that crap can be turned off anyway, so it really doesn't bother me at all. I've got nothing to hide, so if they want to spy on me and what I'm doing, go nuts. They're going to be very disappointed. But I love Windows 10. Windows 10 is fantastic, and going back to Windows 7 is a very kind of unintuitive process, and I used to love Windows 7, but going back to it is so hard. It's horrible in comparison. Like the way you can't pin any of your most used file locations, and just the interface and everything. And I'll tell you something that did surprise me. I didn't notice how fast Windows 10 was until I went back to Windows 7. Windows 7 is a lot slower on the same machine, which I thought was kind of cool. But anyway, so what I did, I thought, right, okay, I got one of two ways of doing this. I could buy a Windows 10 key and start from scratch, which I do plan on doing, because once the free upgrade disappears next year, if anything like this happens again, I'm going to be stuck with Windows 7. So I do plan on buying Windows 10. However, I didn't plan on buying it this side of Christmas. Christmas is a very expensive time of the year, as I'm sure most of you guys know. So what I did, I thought I'd reinstall Windows 7, just give it one last go. And for some reason, it reinstalled fine, gave me a shit ton of DLL issues, saying DLL files not installed, missing, and all that kind of stuff, which is really fucking weird on a fresh install. So I thought, maybe the SSD is actually faulty. And I did, I got a program called Disk Sentinel, and it scans the whole computer. There's no errors, no problems. Both my drives are absolutely fine. So that was really weird. Touch wood. I haven't had any, although it did moan a lot about that in the beginning, it seems to have kind of quietened down a bit now. So anyway, I managed to activate 7 and upgrade to Windows 10. And then I had to start the process of downloading all my games. Thank God for Steam Cloud. Oh my God. You know, the fact that you get cloud save storage on Steam for your saved games for free is mental. It has saved me so much stress. I mean, I'm like 70 odd hours into Fallout 4. Well, actually, like 45. I don't get that much time to play it. But yeah, thank God for Steam Cloud. It saved all of our progress in our LPs and everything, which is fantastic. Downloading games isn't really an issue because I've got like this fast fiber optic connection. I can download like a 30 gig game in about an hour. depending. Sometimes it's quicker, sometimes it's a little bit slower. But downloading games isn't the issue. But reinstalling drivers and everything is always a major pain in the ass. So I think I'm just going to buy Windows 10 next year. Hopefully in January I'll just pick up a key. You can pick up keys for them for like 35 quid. And if you're on the fence about upgrading, it's so good. I mean, I never used Windows 8. I never really liked the look of it. I've heard too many bad things about it, but 10 is fantastic. So that's what's happened anyway, guys. That is why there's been, like, I think there was like 3 days where there was no videos. This took a long time to fix and sort out, which is frustrating because my PC is usually, as I say, touch wood, extremely reliable. I don't often get problems with it. However, it seems when I do get a problem, they are kind of a pain to sort out. But so far, everything's fine. And of course, I couldn't make a channel update. I couldn't do anything. The only thing I could do is post to my English is hard. The only thing I could do is post to my Facebook account. And I do strongly recommend, if you're that interested, sign up to that, and so you'll get all the updates and shit if anything like this happens again. So yeah, I couldn't upload any updates or anything because I had no computer. Something we all take for granted, well, at least a lot of people, having a computer, and when you don't have it, you're kind of screwed. But so that is what happened anyway. I thought I'd let you guys know, keep you all updated. Now I've finally got a computer working again and I'm back to recording. I tell you what, I've been really miserable as well about recording. Like, feel like something's missing in my life. But yeah, so there we go, guys. That's what's happened. Sorry about the delays. Hopefully, I hate saying this, but hopefully it won't happen again. At least not for a long time. It is a pain in the ass. And unfortunately it was completely and utterly out of my hands. Got sick, then my computer died. I guess these things happen. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Until next time.